Hello everybody, this is Andrew, also known as NatureMan. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Gleditsia triocanthos, also known as the honey locust tree. A native here in central Indiana. I am currently in Ritchie Woods Nature Preserve in Fishers, Indiana. And these are some wild, fairly old growth honey locust. I'm not sure if they technically identify as old growth, but they are most definitely mature and not young trees whatsoever. In cultivation, they are bred to be thornless. However, in the wild, they are covered in hellish, spiky thorns. You might be asking, Andrew, this tree does... I'm sorry, the lighting is so poor. I gotta clean my camera lens, I apologize. There aren't that many thorns on this tree. Well, because they don't grow on young... Sorry, they don't grow it on mature wood. They only grow it on young branches, on young or moderate branches. Young or moderate aged branches, I should be saying. Old bark does not grow anything on it. So you're not going to see growth of any kind, including thorns. Which is why on old wild honey locusts, you're not going to see any thorns on them. However, if we were to go up into the tree canopy, we'd probably see a lot more thorns closer to the top. But again, these trees are fairly old. Like I said, I bet some of these trees are 75 years old plus. These two honey locusts, if I had to guess. But yes, in cultivation, they are bred to be thornless, so there's no thorns whatsoever at any age on the cultivated honey locust in landscaping. But if you see a younger tree in the wild, sometimes the whole entire trunk will be covered in thorns. It literally looks like something from a hell painting or something. And they are very pierced. They are very dangerous, so don't let your kids play with these things. I've even experimented. I've used this as a needle on a record player, and it works. That's how sharp it is. I mean, it can really injure you, but it's really neat. You see the honey locust grow that. And people love honey locusts because they have such tiny leaves. They're like, if you've ever heard of a mimosa tree, or they just have very tiny leaves. So they're so tiny that you can even grow sun plants underneath its canopy because it'll still allow sunlight to reach the ground. That's why they're loved in urban landscaping. It never provides a dense shade. You can still grow your flowers under it, grow a lawn underneath it, and they don't have giant leaves that litter everywhere in the fall. Just tiny, tiny leaves. We're gonna zoom up into the canopy. I'm not sure, there's some other maples and elms and other trees around, but you can kind of see right up in there, you see the very tiny foliage. I mean, they are immensely tiny. This, obviously, from this angle, it does not do it justice. There's the other tree. You can kind of see it there. Zoom back in here. Yep, and one annoying thing, some honey locusts are bred to actually be virtually seedless. I believe the Shade Master honey locust might be a seedless variety as well, or near seedless. But all honey locusts in cultivation are thornless because no one would buy a tree that's covered in thorns to plant in their yard, obviously. But look at the ground. What's all this? Yes, the seed pods. This is how you know they're in the legume family, also the pea family, because they produce these seed pods with little pea seeds in them. They're extremely annoying, so a lot of people opt for like a Shade Master honey locust, a variety that is thornless and also virtually seedless. Now, all honey locusts can produce seed pods. There's no truly seedless honey locust, but there are some varieties that are virtually seedless that will produce very little or no seed pods for most years. But look at this. Isn't that cool? And that's how you know it's in the legume family. And you can open this up and there's little seeds in it. Usually squirrels and other animals eat them. And I believe there's a coating around the seeds. So you can't just get the seeds and stick them in the ground and it'll grow. It has a protective coating that can only be removed usually through intense heat. And in the wild, it would be the stomach acid of an animal. It would remove this coating, and once they poop it out, it would germinate a new tree. It's kind of disgusting. But so like if you wanted to collect these seeds and grow a honey locust, I think usually what people recommend, you can like boil the seeds, or there's some kind of procedure. I'm not exactly sure what you'd have to do. I did not look that up or research that before filming today's video. But you can look it up online. There's a lot of resources on how to do that. Pretty easy as well. But then I think you also have to stratify the seeds because you're collecting them in the fall and they need to go dormant, so you can't actually plant them until spring. So a lot of people can put the seed in like a moist paper bag and put it in the back of the refrigerator for at least 60 or 80 days, or at least until early spring, depending on your region. But yeah. The honey locust, hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, I believe. It might be 3 through 8, but I'm positive it might be growing into zone 9A. But yeah, definitely 3 through 8. native here in Indiana and through much of the eastern United States, and an extremely overplanted landscaping tree. A lot of companies are even opting away from honey locust to other trees because they're so overplanted in landscapes. But truly a magnificent tree, and seeing a mature one in the wild gets it into perspective. These small honey locusts in landscaping versus like a 100-year-old tree in the wild, where it's grown up in the dense shade under the forest canopy. Yes, its trees probably grew in shade, or near full shade when they were young, and they kept growing up until they could get full sun at the top of the canopy. Pretty remarkable. They're always advertised full sun apart shade, but they actually are shade tolerant when they're young. Same goes with oaks and sugar maples. Despite the fact, oh, they need full sun, well, they do. They are shade tolerant when they're young, but they will eventually need full or partial sun as they grow into the top of the canopy. Hope you all found this video fun, educational. If you have any questions at all, please leave them down in the comments below. We keep all comments civil and respectful, or they will be removed. This is NatureMan signing off. Bye.